Given f of x is x squared plus 3x minus 10, g of x is 6 minus x cubed, and h of x equals 2x plus 1, we're going to first look at what is f plus g of x, which in turn means that we're adding both functions of f of x plus g of x. And so this is our substitution for f of x and our substitution for g of x. Then we combine like terms and get it in standard form. And so this is our final answer right here for what f plus g of x equals. Next, we look at what h minus g of x is, which in turn is h of x minus g of x. So we substitute for h of x and substitute for g of x, and then we simplify. And then we write it in standard form and combine like terms. And this is what h minus g of x equals. Next, we're going to look at h over f of x, which in turn is h of x over f of x. So we substitute for h of x over f of x. And so that is what h over f of x equals, is this. Now we need to find out what the domain is for this function here. And so we know that f of x cannot equal 0. And so let's go ahead and let's rewrite this with in factored form. And so we cannot have a 0 in the denominator, so we're going to use the zero product property. So x cannot equal -5, and x cannot equal 2. So the domain is going to be -infinity to -5, union -5 to 2, union 2 to infinity. Next, we're going to look at h composed g of x, which in turn means that g of x is going to be the input into h of x. So g of x is going to go right here with the x. And we go ahead and simplify this expression. And then we combine like terms and get it written in standard form. And so h composed g of x is -2x cubed plus 13. Next, we're going to look at h composed g of -2. So we would rewrite this as h of g of -2. So this is our input. So we need to find out what is g of -2. So g of -2 equals 14. So now that we know that this is 14, we rewrite it this way as h of 14. And so now let's go ahead and plug in our values for h, which equals 29. And so we're saying that h composed g of -2 equals 29. Next, we're going to look at h composed f of -5, which can be written as h of f of -5, but we got to figure out what f of -5 is. Now, one thing to be very careful about is that I am still seeing some students that are saying that negative 5 squared equals negative 25. That's not true. This equals positive 25. So we're going to go ahead and find out the value of f of negative 5. And so now we see that f of negative 5 equals 0. So let's go ahead and continue on. And so since f of negative 5 equals 0, then we would write this as h of 0, and then substitute it into the h of x. And so h composed of f of negative 5 equals 1.